So you want to be a great actor, which is fantastic. But to do that, you first have to know what acting is. Because surprisingly, a lot of people, including actors, have no clue. They think that acting is acting like the character. Like, I'm going to do this moody, or I'm going to say the lines kind of like I think I should say them, like the character would say them. Or they think that it is showing their emotions, indicating, forcing them, pushing them. Or they think that it's acting out the scene the way they think the character would act it out. Or they think it's pretending to be another person, or even mimicking. And all of those are completely one dimensional and do not look real and will get you nowhere with casting. They don't realize that acting is actually taking action against an obstacle to get what you want. Like when you're mad because you're not getting what you want. So you do things to take action to get what you want. That's acting, actual acting, like for film and television and TV. So why is that acting? Because it is the structure of drama. So drama, which is comedy and tragedy, is the form that screenplays and plays are written in. And it, like certain other forms of literature, has a really specific structure. Let's in fact compare it to haikus, poetry, form of poetry that's very, very specific. It has 3 lines. We have 7 syllables in the first and the third line, 5 in the middle line. If it's not written that way, it's not a haiku. Also, essays are a great example of this. Essays have a really particular structure. They are starting off with an intro with a thesis, and then they have 3 usually points that support the thesis, and then a conclusion. That's an essay. And if it's not written exactly like that, it's not an essay. It's the same thing with a play or a screenplay. They have to be written in the dramatic form. So let's be really, really clear about what dramatic form is. First of all, it always has conflict, and it starts with desire. Your character wants something, but there's an obstacle in the way, which the obstacle is often another character, but it can also be a force of nature. It could be a tornado, or it could be an internal conflict like anxiety. But so your character wants something, and there's an obstacle in the way, and it has to fight, take action against that obstacle to get to its desire. But the obstacle is going to fight back, so you're going to fight back, and there will be this battle between you and the obstacle. And that's going to create energy from the conflict, and that energy is going to go out as molecules physically vibrating into the audience and touch them and make them feel. I know, I get chills just talking about it. So it's also going to make you feel something and your partner feel something. By the way, what's the difference between real life and drama? In real life, sometimes there's conflict and sometimes there's not, but in drama, there's always conflict. So that's what acting is. Taking action against an obstacle to get what you want in an imaginary circumstance. And actually, you already know how to do it. You already know how to act, and act brilliantly. You do it all the time in real life when you're in conflict. Like when you're stuck in traffic or you're having an argument, you do it instinctively. It's just a knee jerk reaction. But it's really hard to do that when we pick up a script, because suddenly we're in an imaginary world which has conflict because it's drama. But our brains don't take the conflict seriously because they don't have to, because there's no real danger. So that's when we stop taking action like we would in real life if there's conflict or danger. And because it's emotionally safer, we start doing that really weird thing like acting like. Acting like is very 2 dimensional, like you're on a screen, whereas taking action is 3 dimensional, where you pierce the screen. Can you feel that difference that I'm doing right there? Acting like and taking action. And that acting like thing has nothing to do with real life or real behavior, which great acting is based on. So, you see, as human beings, The last thing we want to do is be in conflict. It's scary, it feels weird, it's out of control, but as actors, that's our job, to put ourselves into the conflict of the scene and be vulnerable to all those feelings that come up, which will ignite your feelings and your partner's feelings and those of the audience, which is the whole point of acting, of art for that matter. And that's what I do. I train actors to act, to take action using tactics against an obstacle to get what they want in an imaginary circumstance. And first, we have to start doing it voluntarily, so eventually we can do it involuntarily, just like we do in real life. Learning to act is simple, but not easy. It takes a lot of training to get ourselves to do on cue what we instinctively do in real life. And that is why acting looks so easy when actually it is a very difficult thing to do. So now that you know what acting is, let's start training.